When school districts begin floundering, many states are adopting a drastic approach, taking them over. They're stepping in with new policies and new leadership, hoping they can turn things around. But some teachers say they don't believe the approach is always best for their students. ABC's Em Nguyen traveled to Houston, where the district is finishing its first full school year under state control. But the fallout has already begun.
Rummaging through boxes and their faces lighting up. Free books at their fingertips.
This is my guy. He's my reader.
I got Albert Einstein because I want to become a scientist when I grow up.
This is Faith Reese Boston of Lockhart Elementary, missing her librarian, Miss Cheryl Hensley, who's running this book giveaway.
I feel like I'm missing this big love for reading, but I'm still trying to hold on to that love.
Hensley's position was eliminated after the state of Texas took over the Houston Independent School District.
Being able to put the right book in the right kids at the right time, that's essential.
This school year, the Texas Education Agency disbanded the elected school board and appointed a new superintendent, Mike Miles, tasking him with raising standardized test scores, particularly in math and reading, especially after the pandemic.
Somehow we have to be able to measure a kid's ability to read.
Miles replaced the previous board with a 9-member board of managers. But the biggest change, choosing 28 schools, placing them under what Miles calls the new education system, or NES model. He decided those schools no longer needed librarians.
My mission in life. I'm a librarian. I'm making sure that these kids love it too. I want to make sure that they go find something they want to read and find something that they love to read.
So now knowing that they don't have a librarian.
That's heartbreaking. That's just, it's extremely heartbreaking.
Another change are the so-called spot observations. Officials and administrators monitor teachers' lessons to ensure they're following the district's course materials. What they see plays a key role in whether educators keep their job. Some teachers tell me they're already getting termination slips before the end of the year. Amid a teacher shortage, these changes are driving teachers like Maria Benzin out of the classroom.
It's never been like this. It's never felt so much like you're being strangled.
Benzin says when she pulled 2 students to the back of the class to help them individually, she was told she shouldn't be giving any students one-on-one instruction.
The kids get worksheets to do because if they're high, then they go and do this worksheet. If they're medium, they do this worksheet. If they're low, they do this worksheet. But in addition to that, they have PowerPoints that you've got to do the PowerPoints as they are. So I want to change it. Or there's words in there that the kids don't understand. I want to be able to add pictures or change the vocabulary a little bit. And all of that was discouraged. I want everybody to love learning for the sake of learning. And it has become, sadly, a space of we are learning so we can pass a standardized test.
Our Houston station KTRK found HISD had the highest rate of teachers leaving the region, with 600 who have left so far this year, twice as many as the roughly 300 HISD teachers who left during the same time frame last year. HISD admits 2/3 of teachers who left this year were from NES schools, but says the model raises expectations and is not for everyone, according to KTRK. And it's not just NES schools impacted. More than 55 HISD schools have actually chosen to opt in, with others cherry-picking NES policies. A-rated Barbara Bush Elementary adding a timed curriculum, providing teachers with a timer that gives students about 4 minutes until they are required to move on to the next session. This is Henley Jackson, a 5th grader with ADHD. She says it's overwhelming.
Once there's a little bit of time left, I start panicking because I feel like I'm not going to finish in time.
Henley's mom saying she and other parents have voiced their concerns to the district.
We feel like that is falling on deaf ears.
Hi, thank you so much.
I sat down with Kristen Hull, Superintendent Miles's chief academic officer.
At the heart of what we're trying to do is improve what is happening in the classroom.
Hull says HISD also raised salaries for NES teachers and that their goal is simple: improve student achievement for failing or near failing schools.
You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You guys are not Houstonians. You guys are working for the system and the high-ups.
But time and time again, frustrated parents and teachers have packed into board meetings.
The public cannot hear. The morale just feels low for the people I've talked to. What is wrong with that picture?
That might be true for some. I can't speak to everybody, but that's just not been my experience in walking the classrooms. We're out in the classrooms all of the time. But my message is...
So you're saying you haven't heard of these teachers and parents?
We have, I'm sure. Yes, we hear things, but I think my message, if someone is experiencing something, is what we're trying to say and what we continue to say is the thing we are here to do is stay committed to ensuring your student is receiving the best instruction and the best education that we can provide them.
Morale can play a role in whether a state takeover works, says researcher Josh Bleberg.
It makes it a lot more difficult for them to do their job well.
Texas joins 24 other states that have taken over school districts as officials in recent years have increasingly responded to poor academics or fiscal management by usurping local control. But nationally, recent studies like Bleberg's in 2021 with Beth Schuler of the University of Virginia found no evidence to suggest takeovers boost academic achievement.
What we find is that test scores in math and English language arts were about the same before the takeover and after the takeover.
Several other studies have also come to similar conclusions.
The pushback from community members, from teachers, from parents, those are valued stakeholders in any successful school turnaround effort. If there isn't that trust, it's less likely there will be a positive effect.
When I asked whether HISD took these studies into consideration, Hull said different officials make different changes.
The thing that I spend time looking at is the research on what we know works for learning for our kids.
Some parents agree.
They need the structure. If everything is so lenient and going, the kids are going to go throughout the year being lenient. They're not going to know structure.
Others say they feel trapped.
There's barriers to just up and leaving, not to mention people's socioeconomic levels in life and where they live, let alone family obligations and just life in general. So,
it's not easy to just leave out of the school district.
No, it's not.
These grievances leading to protests.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Maya's got to go.
And to the largest teachers union in Houston to officially call for Superintendent Miles's removal after 98% of the Houston Federation of Teachers just ratified a resolution of no confidence.
Good morning.
Jackie Anderson, the president.
There's a very diverse culture here.
All of these blue dots right here are NES schools.
You cannot use a blanket, a cookie cutter model for every child in this district.
So what's the answer?
Restore a democratically elected board.
Okay, but there have been issues in the past. So what's the answer once you do that?
But funding. You know, we have a state with a $33 billion surplus. Not one dime went to public education.
This comes as HISD touts preliminary mid-year test scores are showing an overall improvement among D and F schools, but admits it could take years before the impact is apparent. Officials say their goal is to one day return HISD back to local control, but for now, the state plans to add as many as 40 more NES schools by next school year and expand to just over half the district's schools by 2025. Since state takeovers are happening more frequently, Bleberg says many other schools may be on the verge of big changes.
I'm speaking for teachers. I'm speaking for people who can't say something, that are afraid for retribution and losing their jobs. I can't stop, so I'm not going to stop.
All about what's best for the students. Our thanks to Em Nguyen for that.